Hello! Welcome, Megan Dirks, to the Up. Welcome, girl on the left. How are you? And you're on the left in the recording. Is that not amazing?
Very convenient and on brand already for us.
Seriously, though, and honestly, guys, this is going to be a quick episode because two things. One, I have to go pick up my daughter. So we've been yapping so much. Megan and I could talk all day. We could probably do 5 episodes if we had to. We have so much in common. We just did, we're doing a swap today. So for the people that aren't in the industry, you do one and then you do the other one back to back because it's a scheduling thing and it's just easy and people do it all the time. So we're doing a podcast swap today because we both have big projects launching essentially at the same time. So yeah. Megan is my good friend. We met through She Rises Studios, which we'll get into. But welcome to the Up. And I know that you don't know what the Up is because you're brand new to the podcast. So
I'm very excited to find out.
The Up stands for, I think you'll like it, the universe provides. That's something that I never revealed in season 1. We just went with the Up. And my friend helped me come up with that. And I feel like it is a very inclusive thing that could mean anything to anybody. You could make that mean whatever you wanted it to. It's
Absolutely.
Just speaking about the universe, and I, of course, have faith tied to everything that I do personally, but I really understand that not everybody does and try to be sensitive and inclusive while still spreading the message that I feel called to do. So welcome to the Up. And the description of the podcast, I had it pulled up and then I just scrolled. Hold on. I did the whole branding thing last year, and it's hard, so I had to hire somebody from the outside to brand me because you can understand how hard that is. You know, can't really brand yourself.
Yeah.
Difficult. Feel like I have a good idea of who I am, but at the same time needed the outside feedback. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I went through all of that. Branding is so important. People hire somebody to brand you. Like if you're listening to this and you're a solopreneur, spend money on some branding. Megan and I are both kind of busy, so I don't think you're going to maybe hire us, but like seriously, like hire somebody because it's so important. Like it is the backbone of your business. Like it's the backbone of your brand. Like just hire somebody to do your branding. So I did that last year. I went through, it is a long step and process. But here is what the Up is. This is what we decided in the...
Tell me.
Yes. So you are the first guest of season 2, episode 1, Megan Dirks, girl on the left. The Up, the podcast that defies labels, detours trends, and debates with love and laughter. This is it. This is what's up. This is the podcast that you've been waiting for. Welcome to the Up, Megan. Thank you for joining me. Megan and I, it's such a fun story. You can go over, I encourage you to listen to a lot of the background in the episode that we just swapped for. I would love it if you would go over and listen there, and I'll link it all in the description like I always do, so don't have any fear if you're driving, like I've got you. Would love you to listen to what we talked about. There was a lot about her project, but also just how we met. We met online, guys. Spoiler alert, Megan and I met online. And it was
very groundbreaking.
And it was not on a dating app. I just always have to clarify that. Anybody that I bring on the show, not on a dating app. So Megan and I met in a network of wonderful women community that we're both part of called She Rises Studios. And we both have tons of projects happening and all the things. And it was so cool. The short story on that was that the day that we met, we were both on the same networking call for the authors of She Rises Studios. It was a branding episode, and we did not know that that was the topic of that day. And we both, it was about 40-ish women, and our brands won the contest of the day. It was just basically like, look at the list of humans on the call and tell us what brands stick out. And everybody said our 2 brands. And I was like, well, did we just become best friends?
I think we did. Yep.
Yep. Just like Step Brothers. We just became best friends. And so one of us, I don't remember which one, direct messaged the other. And then we slid into the WhatsApp. And if you just go around the DMs and you hit up the WhatsApp, that's the move. Like, that's the power move in any kind of partnership. It's like, I don't even want to dabble with the other.
Especially globally and like international border wise. I've had people try to give me their text numbers. I'm like, no, we don't do that.
No. First of all, I need to separate everything. Second of all, no. Like, cute, thanks for trying. So yeah, now we're like friends. We talk all the time. We have so much in common, and we talk a ton about that in your podcast episode. So we swapped out for an episode, and we're both season 1 premieres, which is just so fun. Like, it's one of the many things we have in common. We're obviously dressed alike. We didn't plan that, of course. We both love pink and black. She's from Canada. I am from America, but we found out that we have a common love of the Ozarks, which is where I live, and that's amazing. So tell me, in a few words, tell me, Megan, like, as an outsider, coming from, what are you from, Nova Scotia? Is that where you're from?
Yes, yeah, far East Coast.
So far. So tell me, from Nova Scotia, what are your thoughts on the Ozarks? I want to hear it. I'm dying to know.
It was so funny. So are we talking the location or the TV show or both?
Anything. I mean, it's all fair game here.
Because that was crazy to me. My husband used to live out on the west coast of the U.S., and then he relocated back closer to where he spent time with his family growing up, and they always vacationed every year at the Ozarks on the lake.
Which is crazy.
When I started going to visit him and see him in person, I used to do like 6 months in the States, 6 months back in Canada on the tourist visa.
Oh, right.
Until we could close the gap geography-wise, right?
Yeah, the proximity gap, yep.
Yeah, so we had rented a place in the Ozarks, and that became base down there in the States. Awesome neighbors, awesome
I love
summertime. We're also both super introverted, so love it in off-season too, when
Yes.
everybody goes away after the summer.
Just
So
don't drive
that
anywhere.
was-
That's all you gotta,
yeah.
just don't drive anywhere in the bad weather. That's all I gotta say about that.
Pretty much. And that was it. So then, funny enough, like, everyone's going on about Ozark the show on Netflix.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
Dark Jason Bateman and all of that crew.
Right.
And we knew that was happening. Never watched it the whole time we were there.
Love it.
Actually watched it when we got back on Canada's side.
You missed
And
it.
we
Just
were-
say it. You missed it.
We came up and had to, like, quarantine. It was the middle of the pandemic, and we just did cross-border travels. So there was a ton of rules. And because we're stay inside for 14 days and eat food and watch TV pretty much. So
Yes.
we were like, what an ironic great time to start Ozarks now from here. So did that, binged it, loved it.
Love that for you.
Still go back, visit family, vacation there. Absolutely.
Love it. My gosh. So that's 3 hours for those of you who don't know where I'm at. I'm in Missouri, which is the middle of nowhere. And it's so random that that would be the place that you guys lived and love. Like, I mean, how wild. 3 hours south of me. I lived there for 6 or 7 years, whatever it was. I'm now back in my hometown area, which is more central Missouri. But oh my goodness, like, do I not love the Ozarks and live in them? Yes and yes. So cool. It's just like one of those amazing things. And if anybody's listening and you're like, wow, this girl's high on life, I am. But it's so cool when you find people online and, like, they just fit into your life seamlessly. Like, it's very fun experience. And I've been on the online game for a while now, and it is so real that you can attract like-minded people online. Like, it's a real thing. It does have to do with branding. We're both branding experts and have our own kind of methods, which is fun. But we have so much in common, like all the way down to our own practices in branding and our own thought processes on being certified life coaches and incorporating business acumen into our marketing and branding work with our clients. Like, we did all of this outside of knowing each other, come together on this networking call. People are, like, calling out our brands left and right. And, you know, it feels good to be noticed. Everybody wants to be seen. And I had noted before people were saying it, just like, there's a bunch of people on the call, and a lot of them are slightly older than us. Not that that's a big deal, but, like, you look across the board, there's a bunch of diversity, which I love to see that. Love that. It's all women. Of course, it's a women's community, but I'd say the average person is a little older than us, but, like, you and I look at us, and we've got the long hair. Our hair was down that day. We've got the long hair. We've got the winged eyeliner. We've got the black shirts, and I'm like, how about that? How about that? You know, and so we started DMing and just, you know, became fast friends. Now we're doing several projects together. And I love when that can work out for people. And I want to just give a word to people that might be listening and haven't started the businesses yet, because you and I have certainly been there and had that moment of imposter syndrome. And am I going to be okay? Am I going to be good enough to start something? Like, if you don't start it, you'll never get to meet the people like Megan. So I want you guys to have this story, and I want you guys to have your own. If it's a podcast that you want, great. If it's not, whatever you want. Yeah. It's not for everybody. Megan and I really have a true and genuine interest in humans and wanting to illuminate things about them and shine a light on things we don't all talk about. And mental health is certainly a component of that I feel super strong about. So one of the biggest things when I got on that call and I met her, and I kind of go, as you do, you go to Instagram if you're me, and I'm like, I want to know more. Like, I want more information, you know? Yeah, I'm creeping around. Want to know more information about. Yeah, and like, it's also like, how could I support this human? Like, it's a creep, and then it's like, because I care. I creep because I care. Maybe that'll be the episode name. Yeah. So I'm creeping on the Instagram as I do, and I'm just seeing all of these amazing women and part of your anthology book. And I'm like, you know, I have such a heart, not just for women, for humans, but also such a heart for women. And also just sharing stories that are just so commonly not told. Yeah. And it's so clear that we both share a similar acumen as far as like project management, branding, you know, those things. But it takes a specific human to both be a host and be hosted. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we both, I feel like, have that. Some people have a hard time letting go of the control of like, this is not my podcast, this is not my project, you know, and just letting that happen. Not me, man. If I trust the person and I like the person, I'm like, you go. Like,
take me anywhere. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Like, for sure. I have this instructor, and I go to the gym almost every day, and I have this fitness instructor, and I just love, and she's so talented. She's a little bit older than me, and like, I love her class because I get in there and I just turn off my brain. Like, I know that Leslie has got me. Like, I hope you're watching, listening, girl. But like, that woman could lead me anywhere. She'd lead me off a cliff, so be careful, Leslie. But like, I just love going there, and I was there for an hour in her class this morning, and I walk in, I put my shoes on, and I get my water filled up, and that's the last thing I have to think about for those 55 minutes. And that is such a blessing to somebody that like suffers from anxiety and like just really overthinks majority of the life. Just being in a space, it's so nice and comforting. So thank you for providing that for me earlier.
Yeah, and also same thing, where such a blessing for any women that are really stuck, not even stuck, voluntarily or just in very often that more masculine, like leadership leaning phase in general. Yes. The gift that it is to walk into somewhere and get to turn your brain off, period, for any length of time. Because if you're also a mom, like you are, then you're, you know, mom brain for a while, and then your business brain, and then you're supporting client brain, and then you're, you know, trying to be a good partner, you're trying to do this, and now you have to clean, and at some point it's just nice to have the brain off and have someone else lead, right? Someone else, good. Please take the pants, wear the pants, I don't want pants.
And you know what? When I'm at home, I so rarely have them on anyway. So I am the stay-at-home marker, and I feel like it's a very on-topic conversation, but like, I know that we both share a lot in common, and there's stories that'll come out of this for years, I'm sure. I'm sure this is not the first podcast we will swap. And I know it's not the last project, because we've just signed up for a new project together. So I have a feeling we're just going to be doing more and more, which is awesome. But I want to inspire people, not just women, but like, I just want to inspire people that it is hard to be vulnerable. And it is hard to put yourself out there sometimes, but like, on the other side of all hard things is what you're seeing happen here organically online. And that is, I've created a true and genuine connection with a human. We have shared more than just business with each other in the DMs. And I feel like it's somebody I could call and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this, you know, but past that, somebody that I genuinely am signing up and putting my workload in like kind of sync with, because I feel so loved and supported, and we should all have more of that in our life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have it,
accountability buddies.
Yeah, and if you don't have it, it's available to you. That's the message that I want to share, because so many times, myself included, I can think of my younger self, and we kind of ended your episode with that, advice for the girl on the left. What would you tell her when she was younger? And, I've been fearless, but I've also had times when I couldn't speak. Like I felt like my voice was, either gagged or forcibly, but more often than that, just my words were gone. And for a human that's as vibrant as I am and has as many words, you have to know something's wrong when that happens. Like you have to examine, and luckily I sought professional help, and as I hope anybody would in that situation, when you're not yourself and you're not doing the things that bring you joy and you don't have the tools in your box, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I sought therapy, but I also sought life coaching, and you and I both have certifications in life coaching and experience with it. And that's just one of the things that I think makes us so compatible and just have fun and work together and feel like it's a great, I don't even want to use the word safe space. It's just like a great creative vibe. Yeah. The vibe's immaculate. Let's say that.
Yeah, I feel like we can totally powwow idea bounce, human emotion bounce, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's totally just chill and productive and caring, and that's awesome. And if anybody doesn't know me, which I don't expect them to over here, but a large part of my story pre-business, it was video game addiction for me. That's what I spiraled into. Yep. And same thing there. Some of the online friends I cultivated there were the ones that dug me out. I'm now married to one of them, right? Yep. We met at 14 on World of Warcraft. That's weird for back then.
I love it.
Way ahead of the curve on the online dating things. So
yeah, seriously though. Good for you guys.
If anything, if I have a message in general, it's don't underestimate virtual friends.
Amen.
Because back then, we didn't even really have video on that often. It was just audio, and that felt so safe and so awesome to be able to chat and know there's not that shallow judgment layer there.
Yeah.
And we all knew everything about each other. And the arguments with the partners and the birthdays coming up and all the things. And I'll be honest, I've been in jobs and roles where it's been a lot more shallow. And you are lucky if anyone even signs a card for you for your birthday, right? The ones that get passed around. And you realize there's 4 signatures and about 20 people in the office. So you do some basic math. And
yes.
Very disposable feeling, right?
Yeah.
So I love online friends for business and life.
I do too. And, you're slightly younger than me by a few years, but I feel like we both were kind of right in that, where it was just, if we would have been born a little bit earlier, we would have missed it. You know what I mean? Sure. Like it would have not been available to us. And I was kind of on the cusp there, because I'm almost 38. I'm celebrating a birthday. The day that this podcast comes out, happy birthday to Kristin. I'll be 38. And you have a book coming out tomorrow, and we're going to get there too. Such exciting things. And when I thought about, cultivating the season 2 of The Up, and 10 episodes in the first season, great. I enjoyed it. I had kind of equal parts, some interviews, some solo stuff, and tackled important topics to me. I felt very spirit-led to do it. I did not feel exhausted. I felt the opposite. For the first time in a long time, I felt energized by doing it. And it's because I was interviewing people and talking about topics that I was led to do, not because I was in the soul-sucking, crushing, corporate sphere. Not every job's like that. There's great corporate jobs available to people for sure. But I just really was not aligned with it. I had to make some moves. And I have been in the same boat where they send around the card and you're like, these people, if this HR person didn't buy this card, these people wouldn't care. They don't know me.
Absolutely.
And thanks to HR, I guess, whatever, but it was forced. And I, like you, we are very intuitive humans. And it is interesting to me, as I've tapped in and learned about my gifts as the years have gone on, that I was able to harness that online. How do you feel about that? Yeah,
it's interesting because I think there's so much more apprehension with everything digital, right? Are people real? Are they who they say they are? Are they secretly a predator? Like all these things for business, dating, whatever. So I think it challenges your intuition for sure. And you learn in a professional sense, especially the amount of like Facebook groups we're in for like
Oh,
business
yeah.
support and women supporting women, which let's face it, are not always supportive.
No.
You need a strong intuition, I think, and to know that there are so many people available to you that you don't need to try to like force one that feels weird, right?
Yeah.
Move along.
Or
find the
cling
ones
to
that
one.
are- yeah.
Have you ever
Find ones
had that?
are super authentic. I've had them cling to
Yes.
me. That's weird.
I've had, oh, well, and I call them vampires.
Yeah.
You know, they suck the energy, and I don't believe they mean to do it. I think I have clung to people for the wrong reasons too. Most of mine, I felt led to do it spiritually. So I don't know if that can be wrong, but maybe I went about it wrong. Who knows? I mean, like, who really knows? It's not about blame. It's just like, I have felt like there were people that intuitively I knew were supposed to just be a season in my life. They weren't a lifer. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't all have to be a lifer for everybody. And that was the hardest realization I think I came to in my 20s, to be honest with you, was like I wanted to hold on to everybody. Everybody was going to be collected like a game. Like I was just, action figures. Here's my little people. And everybody loves me. And it had nothing to do with them loving me or not. It's like everybody moves at different paces and the good ones come back. Now in my 30s, years later, I now realize that the good ones will gravitate back when the time is right, if it's right. And I've had that happen so much just by being online and being so visible. I've had people from my past that are like, I just want to say, like, I love what you're doing. I'm sorry that we lost touch, And I feel like it's very authentic. It's not like, oh, because she's visible. It's not that at all. Like,
it's more authentic to bounce back in than it would be to have hung around
exactly.
the whole time,
Exactly.
So for me, it's definitely, I was taught like seasons and reasons. And
Yeah.
same thing. There will be people that come and go, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And same with, I've had people drop out, and I wish them no ill will, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, you have your things. And it's interesting, I think, because reflecting on it even right now in the moment on the fly, I've clung to organizations or rooms more than specific people. And I think that's the thing a lot of us fall victim to, is not realizing when we've outgrown a certain space and having the bravery to kind of take the next step and go find a fresh one or a new one.
Yeah.
I absolutely advocate that I will always like to be one of the dumbest people in the room.
Yes.
Because if I am one of the strongest, the smartest people in the room, I'm in the wrong one. Right? It's time to move on.
So true. I am equal part that. I agree, and I've learned so much from so many people just online alone, in person too, but definitely online. There's just so much more availability to meet and know unique people and wonderful humans, because there's just so many more people online than there are in my hometown of small Jeff City, But I will say equally to that, my newest kind of mission and my newest kind of, let's say the Taylor Swift eras, I'm in a new era, and the era that I'm in the last few years is it's time to help other people up. You had your help, you had your people that came to you. And I am so blessed by the people that have surrounded me through hard times and have loved me well, because I will say I am not the easiest person to get to know by a long shot, because I wear a lot of masks, but then also I'm not the easiest person to love because I have a hard time accepting it. Right. I'm really good at giving it. There's a lot of love here. There's a lot of tears. There's a lot of Kristin, but it is hard for me to accept it in return. And so that is hard to get to know me. And I made some big changes because I got some good feedback from people that I trusted of like, yeah, lovingly, I hope you don't feel like you need to wear a mask all the time. And I hope you can be yourself. And I know that's a process. And so I've gone through quite a bit of therapy. Like I said, I've dealt with mental illness most of my life in some way, shape, or form. And so a big part of using my voice again was I want people to see how real that is and how normal that is. And the girl that you see here on the right now, as we're talking in brand terms, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not one thing. I am many. And I hope people don't feel a need to label themselves into one lane, because we are all walking love letters, and we are all good at many things. We don't need to be a jack of just one trade. We need to not try to master everything we do. That was my big flesh wound, was like, if I play that instrument, I'm going to be the best. If I write that book, it's going to sell the most copies. You know what? I've written 2 books now. One of them's still in editing, but like they might not sell that many copies, and that's okay. Like that,
Yeah.
I give grace to that now. Before it would have been like, absolutely not. Who do we have to, what do I need to do? You know, like I'm going to F shit up. Yeah, like, no, I'm going to be the best or I'm not going to do it. And so that's so much growth. So I want to give you some time here to talk about Girl on the Left, because it's so great what you've been able to accomplish, and to just tell people how they can find it. Because when this airs, I mean, it's all out. It's all in the open.
Yeah.
So tell us about it, girl.
True. And that's terrifying. Yay!
It's so good, though.
Yeah, it's the best kind of terrifying. Last year, had a really hard year emotionally, was all out of balance, and really just needed, like, so many projects that have been backburnered. And I'm like, let me go find one that will actually help the world in some way, hopefully.
Amen.
So, picked up a give back project, decided to run it pro bono for 6 months, like a psycho. And
like a psycho. Done that too.
Gave myself a hard timeline for it, for sure, because I wanted something to pour into. So this whole concept of the Girl on the Left, I've been through big health transformations mentally and physically. I've lost over 120 pounds, have had hormonal conditions and disorders, destroyed my fertility, reversed half of that, lost all the weight, restored my fertility, miscarried, you name it. We've been through the ringer. And for a long time now, like when I look back on those photos of me from more, let's say 10 years ago, 2015-ish, I don't recognize that girl.
Yeah.
And for all the inner work I did, I still hated her with a burning passion.
I know.
What is she doing? She's clueless. She's ugly. Why can't she get her shit together? And for the longest time, that was my view of her. And it took me 2 or 3 more years after that to really realize, wow, she was the one that got up when I didn't want to get up.
Yep.
She was the one that did the workout when I didn't want to do the workout. And really, she deserves a lot more respect and love, and should probably even honor her a little bit.
Yes.
And I was at this conference in 2022. It was one of my first main stage talks back then. And I was terrified to share, and shared, and just said, like, I can't be the only woman that feels like this.
Yeah.
That looks back on their past self with, like, shame and spite and all the not good feelings. And that was the whole idea, was what if we took the traditional before and after concept and we totally flip it. And instead of just focusing on the, look how great I am now, I am skinnier, I'm happier, I'm whatever, and what if we just poured massive love and actually talked about the raw, messy parts that got us to the, like, Instagram after, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
so,
absolutely.
For me.
But your book is not just about weight loss, just for everybody else's benefit. It's everybody's unique stories.
Yeah, and mine, I don't even super focus on the weight loss portion of mine. It was really important to me that I picked up like 21 other co-authors to do it with me, because if I did it alone, honestly, I would have flaked or procrastinated, or it wouldn't be done.
Yep.
So that was my growth, was pulling other people in, so I was responsible for their stories too. And that covers financial ruin and substance abuse and sobriety and grief. Who knows? Everything is in there.
Yeah.
So that is the Girl on the Left, and that is just a movement, hopefully, and not just a book as well. So by the time we've recorded this, the book is out on Amazon, 13 plus countries.
And you guys have already hit several lists, I want to mention. You guys have already hit several lists.
Did. Some nice hot new releases in Canada and US, and that's not even with the paperback out yet. That was just the ebook, so I'm excited for sure. And anybody interested in any kind of positive women empowerment, community, growth work, you name it, we are social everywhere at Girl on the Left Co.
Yeah.
So.
Great name, great brand, everything. For those that aren't watching, that you're listening, I'm crying. I've been crying silently for 3 minutes, because it's just so great how wonderful people can be, and I think it's such a great movement. And I raised my hand and I was like, what can I do? I know your book is already, when I met Megan, her book was already solid, like her authors were already there and things were pretty much, almost a press, and that's awesome. But I was just like, I believe in what you're doing so much. What could I do? And so the least I could do was have Megan on the podcast, because I want you guys to hear in my voice. I have listened to several of the interviews with these wonderful humans and met a few of them in the video calls that we have for She Rises. And I just want to say that Mother's Day is coming up, and there's a lot of women that would be involved in that. And instead of buying the best-selling book on the Target bookshelf, I just want to inspire somebody to buy a lesser-known anthology full of amazing humans and support women in that way, maybe, instead. Not because those people aren't worthy, but they've had their time. And those people are going to be selling for years to come because they're on the Target bookshelves. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a goal of many authors. However, I believe that this type of community and support will go so much farther if you're looking for a gift for a human, especially a woman. A lot of men also could be better partners, friends, lovers, spouses, humans, just by reading these stories and understanding more about women. Yeah. Because I have learned, even being a woman for longer than Megan has, by the way, a little older, but I have learned I was able to catch maybe 4 of the interviews that you've done, because I haven't known you the whole duration of your podcast. And I have learned, and I have grown and been refined through your work. So I just want to give a huge congratulations on your book, and I'm excited to be a part of the future and just work all the things that we'll be doing together. That's not the only project we'll be continuing in. We've already made some decisions and moves, and it's just so wonderful. COVID was hard on all of us in different ways. Mm-hmm. And I found that people used that strength, and they either chose fear out of that. A lot of us were scared, or they let that fuel their fire. And I certainly had a little bit of both. I think most of us did. But I love seeing the things that are coming out of the other side. Now you're seeing the artists and the authors and the doers, and they've had time to publish, and they've had time to promote, and they've had time to crowdsource, and they've had their Kickstarters. And I love seeing the shift. Things aren't easy in the world today. We're recording this on April 28th, 2025. It's not an easy world out there. It's a scary one. I'm going to not talk fear into you. I'm just saying it's a scary world out there right now. There's a lot of bad things happening. Yeah, it's not pretty. But the more joy that we could focus on, and the more small influencers we could support, especially women, that's on my heart. Buy a copy of the book. I will have a link in the description. And if you do nothing else, share this podcast episode. Tag us both. Girl on the Left, Stay-at-Home Marketer. I'll have it all in the description. Shares are free. I wish people would give more shares and more hearts, because that is what a business owner and what a creator truly needs. So thank you for sharing your light and your story. And I hope everybody, I don't want to say too much of it, because I hope everybody will click the link and either grab a Kindle copy or, whatever. I just hope they'll imbibe the story in some way. And thank you for being such a great friend to me, and just all of the light to come. I just want to say a massive thank you to Megan for your time. And I'll also link our other interviews so people have a little more background on, how we met and things online.
Yeah, how we get together on a non-dating app.
Yes, emphasis on the non-dating. So Megan and I are, yes, the pleasure was mine.
Thank you so much for having me, for giving space for me to share the message for Girl on the Left too. It all means so much, and I'm excited for your book also coming out this fall.
Yes.
So there will be many more talks for sure.
Oh yeah, we're in pretty deep on the project list by now, so more to come. But honestly, I got a lot of feedback from people just saying that these episodes were the longer episodes were hard, And I am really good at long form content. I'm a yapper. So it's good for me. I have to go pick up the reality of the show today, guys, is like I have to go pick up my daughter. I'm technically 2 minutes late. But I mean, I messaged them and they're going to be there. So, but that's the era that I'm in. I'm the stay-at-home mom. You know, I'm doing the things. My daughter's in part-time preschool. She's 4 years old, and I'm doing all the things. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad if you're not doing all the things. I'm saying that to inspire the people that want to do them. They can be done. No matter if you have kids in your sights or not. It's just, I am doing what I was made to do, and you can too, just like what Megan's doing. A wonderful service to all the humans, and so much love. And I know that we'll be doing another podcast, so it's not goodbye. It's just I'll see you on WhatsApp.
Sounds good.
But thank you, Megan.
Next video note.
Yes, exactly. And please, 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 please grab a copy, even if it's just a Kindle copy. Grab a copy. Grab a copy of the book. Read the stories. Listen. Do you have audiobook? I didn't ask you that.
Audiobook is on the horizon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm going for audio on mine too, and because I'm just such a talker, I was like, it's like my dream, you know, like I got to do it. The longest audio note I ever recorded, epic. So, all the things. But thank you for warming up season 2 with me, and for both of our podcasts. And here's to many more in the future, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristin.
Yes. Go on and love and light everybody, and have a fabulous day. Thanks for listening.
Bye.